Hey guys, I would be saying welcome back to Blim-Dim, but the thing is, I kind of already told you guys that when I recorded this episode. Um, so funny thing happens when you download a bunch of games all the time and don't really look at your hard drive space all that often. It can actually kind of get full, and well, when that happened, I tried to record an episode. OBS didn't inform me, of course, that I had gone over the limit of my actual hard drive. And in addition to the saves during the whole recording phase, in addition to the saves fucking up, it didn't save any of an hour and a half of play. So I'm going to recreate it all in MS Paint. So where we last left him, we I'm gonna go ahead and do a little drawing here. We had currently found a gold cannet, a flower, in Anasi's house. Now we decided to drop that one because Blim-Dim's a sentimental guy, and we actually picked a real one. Okay. So then, realizing there weren't any coda flowers around here, we went to the Bitter Coast, where I thought I'd actually seen some. Turns out they're called draggletails, and they're these kind of stalk-looking things that stick out of the water like this. And let's go ahead and yeah, kind of like that. And so we picked one of those and took it back to Anasi. And after that, she told us where to get a flame mirror robe from the Telvanni in Vivek. And if you remember Vivek, it's these big cantons with these multiple layers on them. And this one, let me go ahead and finish drawing this. This one was at the top of the Telvanni canton. Okay. So we go to the top of that and steal this robe. Now, there's a bunch of Telvanni kind of walking around up here in this major area at the top of the Telvanni canton in this big manor, and they catch Blim-Dim because he isn't that good at stealth yet. Luckily, however, as it turns out, it didn't put a bounty on us for some reason, even though normally and logically it should have. So something I forgot to mention is that with one of the mods that I have on Anasi's house, Blim-Dim now has a once per day power to teleport back to Anasi's house at any time. So we're probably going to be basing our operations out of that house now, with the shack being where we're going to display our cups and whatnot. So yeah, we just kind of ported back to Anasi's house, and everything was well and good. She thought we looked really sexy in our new robe, and we ended up giving it to her because she liked it so much, right? In return, she gives us 20 ebony throwing stars, and they look kind of like a swastika if you got bored halfway through drawing it. They look kind of like that, with this kind of circle in the center, right? Ebony throwing stars, and she gave us 20 of them. So these things are incredibly valuable and really rare, so we just kind of put them on the table. After we put that on the table, we went ahead and ransacked Anasi's house for all the cups it had. And we actually spent quite a bit of time resting there to get the Wabajack, this thing that's supposed to be on Blim-Dim's back here, recharged. It takes a long time to recharge, and it has a pretty big charge. It's like 4,000 or something, and each thwack of it uses like 120 points of charge. So we got that fully charged, and it hasn't run out since. I think I wasn't very careful with it and let it run out over the course of a long period of time. So after we got all that done, there was another quest that Anasi gave us to go to Ebonheart, which is this big place with these castles run by the Imperials and Duke Vidam Dren. Now, oh, sorry. They have these docks and whatnot. It's this port town, right? And Anasi tells us to go into the Castle Ebonheart, and sneak in and get this glove that's supposed to hamper ranged characters. It's a really shit glove, by the way. It was totally not worth the time. So we go underneath Ebonheart Castle to this secret catacomb beneath the island that the castle's sitting on, where there's supposed to be a secret entrance to get to this glove easier, if only that were true. Instead, we find this crazy, deranged hermit who's apparently stolen some badass armor it's supposed to make him really cool. It's called the Lord's Mail. Anyway, he goes down like a total bitch to our spells. Like, he isn't a threat at all, even though I suspect he was supposed to be, because he tanked our spells pretty well. It's just that, like, we got him. It just wasn't that hard of a fight, and so we killed him and took his Lord's Mail and ransacked his stuff. And long story short, we went through the secret door into the Imperial Commission inside of Castle Ebonheart here, and as it turns out, it required a 90 lock. It basically required Blim-Dim to get past a 90 lock. Now, he is not a lockpicker at all. So, really pissed off, Blim-Dim goes out of this cavern and then just goes straight up to the Imperial Commission instead to see if he can't go an alternate approach, right? No such luck. He has to get past another 90 lock to get into the same room. At least he thought. So, we go ahead and teleport to the Mages Guild. And we go ahead and buy from that Dunmer guy downstairs an open spell. And we go ahead and have Estrolladin, or whatever that high elf's name, who's standing down there and always says something like, "I'm always willing to help those less fortunate than myself," or some stupid bullshit, some condescending nonsense. We got her to make us a spell that has 100 unlock, and surprisingly enough, we can actually cast it. So we're actually, like, able to fully unlock doors now. It's just that takes, like, balls bustingly long time to do so. Like, it's about a 10% chance, so it's 1 in 10 that we'll actually succeed. So that worked. We went back into the secret entrance here. I went down through the catacombs, past the dead guy and like 10 rats. This is about when we decided that we hated slaughterfish too, as another trait of Blim-Dim's. So we are totally against fish now. So let me finish this detailed drawing here. We are against fish. Okay, so meanwhile, we continue back down. We go to this secret door, which is just like this this regular door. It has, you know, like brick lay and all that. It looks like a wall, actually, not a door. Yeah, it's like all brick, right? Shit. Okay, you get the idea. And it actually opens... Oh, shit. It actually opens up. And that was supposed to look like it was opening up, but it didn't really. So anyway, it opens up to this area with this altar, right? and another locked door behind there. We open that up, and then we come to the realization. Remember when Blim-Dim walked straight into the Imperial Commission after getting super lost in the castle and actually found the area that the Imperial Commission's in? That secret room just leads to the public area. So we went through all that work going down into here, doing all this bullshit for absolutely fucking nothing. Since we would have gotten as much done going straight in through the front door. So Anasi gave us bad advice. I forgave her and her cute little Neko ears and whatnot. And we, you know, it doesn't actually allow you to bring it up. To her, that she totally fucked up and her intel was shit, but it's whatever. Oops. Then we'll do a little nose here, like Sonic the Hedgehog. We'll do some little whiskers. Okay, so Anasi, we forgave Anasi. We weren't too mad at her. So we end up realizing that to actually get this glove in the Imperial Commission in Ebonheart, right? We have to get past 2 royal guards. And Blim-Dim, being the quick thinker he is, dumps all of his shit on the ground, so whenever he gets caught attacking them, he isn't going to get caught, and none of his stolen goods are going to be taken from him. And so, butt naked, he runs up to one of the guards and punches him, and tries to get both the guards to chase him out into the other room so that he can go in and steal. Of course, he pays off his bounty to this big guy in, like, gladiator garb outside, on the bridge outside of the castle. We pay off our bounty there. We go back inside just to see the 2 guards go back into the fucking room. I've never seen this in Morrowind before, but they just straight up walked back into the room and started guarding the spots that they were guarding before, even though I didn't even know this game could do that. So we took another option. We were just going to unlock the door anyway and get caught. Now, this is a 1 in 10 chance, and I kid you not, Blim-Dim gets it on the first chance. He pays off his bounty, which is like 3 gold, and we go inside. We ransack their shit, steal all of it, steal the glove, and then teleport back to Anasi's. This took a long-ass time, and it was a lot of effort for not really anything. The glove sucked. It gives blind and damages enemies' marksman skill. That it's totally useless. When you could be damaging their marksman, you could instead be fireballing their face, which is kind of the whole conundrum of the situation. So after that, I think that was when the quest line was concluded with Anasi. That was the last thing you could do with her, I think. I'm gonna look it up real fast, actually. I was absolutely correct. That was the last thing you do for her. And after that, I felt kinda... Blim-Dim felt like there was something tugging at the back of his mind, something that he needed to do. And then he remembered that Sheogorath himself directed Blim-Dim to go to the far north in the Sheogorad region, to find an Argonian named Big Head. So Blim-Dim went on his way. Now, something we discovered very interesting along the way is how to hotkey. And how you hotkey is you hit F1 while you're in the menu, and it will allow you to assign things to like number 1, 2, 3. So what we did here is we assigned 1. To Icarian Flight. And as you remember, Icarian Flight is the name of those scrolls that allows Blim-Dim to jump everywhere that he bought from a rill previously. Okay, so these scrolls are now hotkeyed, which means every time I cast it, you remember how it used to just deposit, and I would have to open the menu, pull it back out, and do all that stuff, and be incredibly frustrating to get anywhere? No longer. I hotkeyed 1 to Icarian Flight, so I can just jump wherever I need to, and never need to enter any menus. It's absolutely lovely. I still died once doing it, I think. But that's fine. No, actually, I died to a monster. I think I died to, like, a group of Nyx Hounds I dropped into. I think, and I couldn't get away in time. Anyway, I go north enough to reach the Sheogorath region, and I hit the water, and my hatred of fish is made tenfold. And we're gonna go ahead and make this smaller here. Just an absolute hatred, because we land in the water. We are ganked by 5 slaughterfish of varying sizes and a dray, which best way I can describe it is a tentacle creature that I think you guys have seen before that has a red face. It's kind of these horn-looking things on his face. And they want nothing more than you to be angry, pissed off, and dead. So that's the Dre. And not the... And I actually made a joke about Dr. Dre for some reason, even though I hate rap. Not to alienate my fan base or anything, of course. Anyway. So we get killed by them a million times. I saved in the water right as they were about to kill me. I was at 2 health. I managed to actually get to land without using anything special. Saved. This is about the time that I was having trouble with auto-saving because my computer's memory was maxed and I didn't know it. So I had turned auto-saving on resting off. I immediately go and get killed by 2 skeletons and then spawn back in the water after I had already gotten to safety. Saying fuck to all that. I used one of the Rising Force potions, which is like a levitation potion that I found back in that cavern with the crazy guy. There were some levitation potions. So I just drank one of those and swam out of the water and swam to shore. Now, I didn't arrive at the island I was supposed to in the Sheogorath region. How it goes is that there's this long island that looks kind of like a cock. And then there's the big one, which makes up most of the landmass. And then I'm supposed to go to this tiny little one here. That's where I'm supposed to go. But I ended up on Cock Island here. And on Cock Island, there's this massive ruin, not ruin, but Velothi Tower called Argonian. So, I decided I'm going to go dungeon spelunking. I'm going to go into Argonian here, and I'm going to clear it of its, its treasures and whatnot. So there's these 2 skeletons out front. They're kicking my ass. They kill me all the time. At this point, I am literally screeching at my TV at times. I bet it would have been really funny. Too bad it didn't save. So there's these 2 skeletons out front, and I pop in with my shock rape, and finally I get them. They're both dead. It's incredibly satisfying. I get them all in 2 spell casts. They're both archers, and they're hitting me, and I'm ducking and weaving and going back and forth, which is, you know, basically strafing left and right to try and avoid him. And I finally get him. And then I go inside, get killed by some skeletons, and then realize that I didn't save. So I get them again. And this time it's a bit more satisfying. Since I actually get them both with 2 spell casts instead of like 5 like last time. And it's incredibly satisfying. So it was 5 the first time and 2 the second time in terms of spell castings required to kill the skeletons. Anyway, these 2 skeletons out front are dead now. And I go inside. And I start fighting some skeletons. I think realize that my health and magicka and stamina are all kind of low. So I go back outside, save, and then my game crashes. And that's where I ended the episode. So, yeah. I'm sorry you guys didn't get to see that. It wasn't the most remarkable episode in the world, but some really interesting things happened. All I can say is that I absolutely swear that all of this happened, and in the order that I described it in. Like, I did not exaggerate at all. I did not make anything up. This is all actually how it happened. I know that you have only my word for it, and my word has been, you know, kind of not so credible at times for comic relief, but absolutely exactly how I described it. This was Blim-Dim episode 8. And yeah. So that's how it went down, how everything went. Basically, Blim-Dim is outside Aldredania right now. He's fixing to go in and clear out a dungeon, whatnot. And yeah. That's about all I can really remember about the experience. It was a lot longer than that. How I got to Ebonheart was I took the boat, since Blim-Dim doesn't really need to... he can only not ride Silt Striders. Oh yeah, speaking of Silt Striders, I made a joke during the game, during the playthrough that when I was about 4 years old, I played Morrowind on the Xbox, and I called Silt Striders Stilt Striders. Mostly on me being 4 and not being that good at reading, since you're only told what they are through text. Plus the fact that they looked like they were bugs standing on giant stilts, so I called them Stilt Striders all the time. And the reason why I brought this up is I think I mixed up Silt Strider with Stilt Strider while I was talking, and I think I was like pointing it out that I hadn't called them that since I was 4 years old. That was a fuck up from like when I was very young. I'm not that old. I'm 21. But this was a long ass time ago for me, right? And yeah, I think that's about the only thing interesting I really talked about. Well, I talked about a lot of interesting things. It's just that I can't remember them. Oh, one last thing. I got a mod that will be in the credits for this episode here, if you can call it an episode, where you see how the Blim-Dim's Mantle of Woe is gray and blackish now? Well, it looks kind of like the Glamorrow Witch Robe from Blood Moon, but kind of different. I got a mod that replaces a lot of the unique finery with actual unique models. So my robe, my Mantle of Woe, is going to look nothing like Trebonus's Master Wizard robe or anything like that. They're all unique items now, which is really neat. I really love this mod. So you'll find it in the credits, and you're going to see me with a lot of new items, but they're not new. They're just old items with unique textures and meshes that are very flavory. They're very consistent with the art style of Morrowind. In fact, I don't think they use new textures. I think they just make new shapes, meshes. I think that's about it. So that's about all that really happened. I can now open any lock. I just have to cast at it a billion times. I'm currently fighting skeletons on an island that's shaped like a cock. I still hate slaughterfish, and Blim-Dim actually loathes slaughterfish now. So that is now a new character trait of his, in addition to wanting cups, being a flaming homosexual, and never riding on animals. He also hates slaughterfish with a passion. Not because of anything that happened before Blim-Dim's adventures here, but because of what's happened so far. We've had so many problems with slaughterfish. Not cliff racers, fucking slaughterfish. That Blim-Dim now has a hatred of them. Anyway, that's about it for this episode. I'm sorry that I overwrote the save. I'll fucking admit it. I overwrote the save that I had back in Pelagaiad where I was fixing to go out to find the flowers. No. I was on the road. Right, I was on the road. I think. Something like that. I think I was on the road and I was picking flowers. Before I realized the Coda flowers were in the Bitter Coast. I overwrote that save while I was playing. I'm going to keep a save at the beginning of each episode in case I need to redo an episode now. I've learned from my mistake. This bullshit with the MS Paint's not going to happen again, but I hope, regardless, you found it entertaining. I love y'all for watching, and you guys take care, alright? I'll see you later.